Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this class.
Hi there, kids. How are you doing? I hope you had a look at the submission video and it made sense to you on how to go ahead and make your submissions. I hope you're going ahead and making all of the submissions for all of the classes that you are attending and getting selected as part of that top 10. So let's get started with today's class. But before we get started with today's class, I want to go ahead and discuss the certificate program that we've all been discussing with you for so long. So what is the certificate program? The certificate program basically is a program wherein you go ahead and get a certificate for the courses that you are attending. Now, how do you gain that certificate at the end? It is basically by going ahead and attending all of the classes of any course. For example, today we're starting a fresh course basically known as sketching. Now, if you go ahead and attend all of the classes of this course, plus you go ahead and make all of your submissions, in the end you'll go ahead and get a certificate identifying that you have attended a course like this, and these are all the small matters that you have gone ahead and learned. Now, what is the reason that we want to give you this certificate? So the reason we want to give you the certificate mainly is to sort of give you an identity or a proof that you have gone ahead and learned and studied all of these skills with me or whichever teacher that you are going to be working with at any point of time. So the certificate is basically going to be very, very helpful for you in the future when you have to tell your teachers, your peers, your colleagues, anybody that you're going to be working with as to what skills you have developed and not developed. So it's very, very important for you to go ahead and get certificates at this age. So this program will just help you out because you're anyway attending all of these classes, and you will just get a certificate in the end, which will be super, super helpful. So after, since we've spoken about the certificate program, now let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to go ahead and do in today's class. Now, today's class and the whole course of this this few classes that we're going to be attending now is all about sketching. Now, what is sketching? Why are we learning sketching? What is the point of it? Okay, so sketching or shading is basically a kind of technique that we go ahead and use for any kind of painting tomorrow in the future. So for example, if you go ahead and see any picture, you'll see some form of shading that is there, right? Always. But whether it's a mountain, whether it's a tree, whether it's the sun, whatever it is, you'll always see some form of shading, right? All and everybody knows how to do that. And this is the age where you can go ahead and learn how to do that. So this whole course is basically going to be techniques of sketching and shading, and we're going to go ahead and learn each technique in every class. So one technique every class, and using that one technique, we're going to go ahead and do one subject or object of our choice. So in today's class, what I have picked is stippling. Now it might sound like a very fancy word, stippling, and you can go tell your friends that you learn how to do stippling, but stippling is very simple. It's one of the easiest things that one can do. So what is stippling? Stippling is basically going ahead and doing dots, but the number of dots that you do will make your picture look a certain way. So you will go ahead and learn what the concept of stippling is, as well as you will learn how to go ahead and do shading or sketching of a sun using stippling in today's class. So make sure that you follow thoroughly what we're doing today. Make sure that you do a very neat job, because that's going to be your submission as well. Make sure to follow and make sure to go ahead and make that submission right at the end. So let's get started with today's class. So let's first get started with the materials that we need for today's class. The first thing that we obviously need is a sheet of paper. We always need a sheet of paper to work with. So here I have a sketchbook or a drawing book, whatever you want to call it, a journal, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be using this. It's a 100 or 150 GSM sheet of paper. If you do not have a 100 or 150 GSM sheet of paper like I do right here, that's completely okay. You can go ahead and use an A4 size sheet of paper if you want. If you do not have that, and any unruled sheet of paper will do as well. But that's the basic thing that you will be needing. The next thing that you need is a pencil. Now the pencil is basically going to be something that you draw with. We always use a good pencil, so have a nice dark pencil and make sure it is sharpened. You do not want a very blunt pencil or something that breaks off easily. The next thing that we need is basically a whole set of sketch pens. Now, if you do not have a whole set of sketch pens and you have a few sketch pens, that's also completely all right. Here I have the Faber-Castell set of sketch pens. If you do not have sketch pens and you want to just use your pencil, then you can definitely go ahead and do so. But we can use sketch pens basically to brighten up our picture and basically work with, doing some fun things. So now let's get started with today's class. Now, first thing that I'm going to basically do is I'm going to show you the concept of what stippling is. Now, to get started, what I have done is you can go ahead and take your marker, that is your sketch pen, or you can go ahead and take your pencil and draw a rectangle. The first thing that we are going to do right now is learning how to go ahead and do stippling. So the whole concept of stippling, like I told you, is a bunch of dots, and how you place the dots will basically be how the shading looks. Now, if you go ahead and put a lot of dots together, then a place will look very, very full, right? If you go ahead and put a little less dots, then they'll have some empty spots. So it's like medium full. And if you put very little dots, then it look empty, right? Like one or two dots are there here and there. So now that's the whole concept that we're going to be working with right here. So what I'm going to do is, once you've gone ahead and drawn this rectangle, I'm going to go ahead and divide this rectangle into three parts. So you can see I'm taking my sketch pen and I'm dividing my rectangle into three parts by adding a dotted line. Now I want you to go ahead and do the same. You can go ahead and do so with a sketch pen or again with the pencil. That's completely all right, but make sure you go ahead and divide your box into three parts. Now if you are struggling with doing this, then you can use a scale. If you're struggling doing it freehand, completely all right, that's no problem. Use a scale for it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you how the dots are supposed to look. So let me draw it out and then I will explain it to you. All right, so what I have done here is, on my leftmost side, which you can see the dots are a lot together, is going to be my space where we have all of the dots cramped up together. So it looks like there's no place left. My second section is basically where the dots are little freed up. So there is a little bit of space. And finally, we have a lot of space between the dots. So there is a lot of space. So that is the first concept that you have to understand, and how we're going to use this in each of the boxes. So the first one will do the first thing, second one will do second thing, third one will do third thing, and see how we will get a beautiful shading rectangle that is there, which will go from dark, medium, and light. So let's do it, and then you can understand what I mean. So first go ahead, before we do it in the rectangle itself, go ahead and do the dots on top like I have done. So bunch of dots together on the first one on top, then bunch of dots separately in the next one, and a bunch of dots very far away for the next one. So have this symbol or identification here before you move on. Okay, I see everybody is doing a wonderful job. Very well done, guys. Good. Perfect. I see everybody is doing a wonderful job. Well done. Okay, so since everybody's gone ahead and marked up the top of their rectangles, now we're going to go ahead and fill in the rectangle. So I'm going to start with the one with a lot of dots. Now for this one, you can go ahead and take any color of your choice. It's all about basically doing dots. So go ahead and take any color of your choice and get started. So first we're going to go ahead and do the box which has a lot of dots. I'm just going to go ahead and start doing it right now. I've gone ahead and picked purple color, and you can see I'm slowly taking my time and drawing a lot of dots. Now here I do not want you to rush or do fast. Take your time to do your dots because you want your dots to look nice and neat. So take your time and do it neatly. Try to have your dots nice and close together for this one. Try not to have too many gaps, because if you have too many gaps, then we're not going to get the result that we want. So as you can see, lots and lots of dots. You can see how nice that is looking. So here I'm going to wait for a second, and I want you to go ahead and finish it up. So just in case you're behind and you are still going ahead and doing your dots, I'm going to wait here for a second. Take your time and finish up your dots. Like I mentioned, you can go ahead and do any color. No hard and fast rule of what color you should be using or what color you shouldn't be using. Take your time and go ahead and do this. You can see everybody is looking very nice. Very well done, everybody. Excellent job. Good. Okay, well done, everybody. So since everybody's gone ahead and done all of their dots in the mini cluster, we're going to move on to the second box. Now, like I told you, second box, the dots will be little far away. You do not want it to be supremely close. So let's go ahead and do that box. So you can see I started leaving a little bit of distance between the boxes. Sorry, between the dots. And now that's giving me like a different look. Now, even though right now it doesn't look like much, in the end, it'll look like quite a bit. So there you go. We have our second box. Done. So again, I'm going to wait. Take your time to go ahead and do this. Do not go ahead and rush into this. The faster you do it, what will happen is you might make mistakes. It might get dirty. It might not look neat or nice. So do not rush in. Take your time. Slowly go ahead and do your dots. Please do not rush, because if you rush, then what will happen is you might end up not doing very neat dots. You might go ahead and overlap too much. You need to concentrate while doing this. So take your time. I'm waiting for you to go ahead and do this. All right, everybody's is looking very pretty, very nice. Good job, everybody. Such vibrant colors everybody's taken. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so since everybody's done a good job, now we can move on to the last cluster. The last section, like I told you, is going to be very far dots. So you do not want the dots to be close at all. So try to make sure to do the dots far away. So you can see I'm doing much more far away than I did earlier. So nice and far. Perfect. Now have a look at how my box is looking. If you notice that this part of my rectangle is looking like it's dark, then this side is looking like it's medium, and this side is looking like it's light. So the whole concept of stippling or any form of shading basically is that itself, wherein you have a dark patch, then you have a medium patch, and then you have a light patch. And that is the whole concept of shading. It's just that we go ahead and create this dark, medium, light using different things. Now you can do it with crayons, you can do it with sketch pens, you can do it with markers, you can go ahead and do it with soft pastels, oil pastels, paint, so many things, right? You can go ahead and do it. But in today's technique, what we're doing in stippling is basically using dots. The number of dots that we use will create the dark, medium, light. So here you can see what we have done. We have done dark, then we have done medium, and then we have done light. So that's the concept that we followed. So here I'm just going to wait for a second, just in case you have not done it right, or you have got a little confused and you feel like, no, I just want to do another small box, something again. Please go ahead and do so. Practice it out. I'm just going to wait for a second just so that everybody's clear on this before we move on to the main subject. Good. I think everybody's done an excellent job, looking very nice and neat. Good. Okay, so since everybody's understood this, we can move on to actually using the stippling technique on something. So today what I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and teach you how to do stippling for a sun. So first thing that I'm going to do right now, you do not have to draw, you do not have to color, you don't have to do anything. So you can keep your materials down, and we are going to go ahead and first understand what we're going to do, and then we're going to go ahead and do it. So what I'm going to do first is give you an explanation. So for the explanation, let me draw and show you. What I'm going to basically go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and draw a sun. For the sun, the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle at the center of the page. So this is what you're going to be doing later. So first understand, nobody draws or colors right now. So you can see sun, we have done the circle, and now I'm going ahead and doing a few wiggly lines coming out to create the rays of the sun. So you can see really simple drawing, some wiggly lines to create the rays of the sun. So this is basically going to be the drawing that we do later on. Now the idea that I want to basically go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and shade this sun. Now this is the diagram that we're going to be going ahead and shading. Now how do we go ahead and do the shading part of it? What I basically want to do is I want this part to be dark, then I want the little bit inside to be medium, and I want the center to be completely light. And for the rays, I want this part to be dark, which is close to the sun, the center part to be medium, and the last part to be light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a diagram of it, and I'm going to show you. Again, I'm going to do it with dotted lines. So you can see I'm dividing it into parts. So that's my topmost part that I wanted dark. Then I wanted the next part to be medium and the center part to be light. And same thing I'm doing the division for my rays. So you can see how nicely I'm just dividing it so that you understand better. Okay, so if you have a look at this, I have divided this. So I want this section, which is the outer periphery of my sun, to be dark, my center periphery to be medium, and my full centermost to be light. Then here I want full dark, all of this that is close to the sun dark, then everything that is in the second layer to be medium, and everything in the last layer to be dark. Now, like I have divided it here, we're just going to go ahead and take the dotting technique and fill it up. Now, like I said, if I want this periphery part to be dark, then I will go ahead and do the one with a lot of dots. Then in the second part, I want it to be like a little less dots, so I'll do the little less dots. And the last one, I want it to be light, so I'll do completely light. So have a mental map of this, because when we're actually doing the drawing, we're not going to be going ahead and doing the markings. We're only going to directly start doing the dots. So this is what it should will be the kind of idea or plan we are going to be working with. All right. So I think everybody's understood this. Yes. Okay. So since everybody's understood this, we can now get started with the actual shading or the stippling part. So let's get started. So take a fresh sheet of paper, or if you have space alongside the rectangle, then you can go ahead and take that as well. And first go ahead and draw a circle. Now, if you feel like the circle is very hard to do and you're not able to draw the circle, then you can go ahead and take a bowl, a cup, a bangle, whatever you have, and draw the circle. No issues on that whatsoever. Just go ahead and draw the circle. Well done, everybody. Neat job. Excellent. Very happy with how everybody's doing. Good job. So now, since everybody's done that, like I showed you previously, we're going to do wiggly lines to go ahead and draw the rays. So you can start on any side, right, left, top, bottom, wherever you like. Just go ahead, draw wiggly lines, join them together and draw a beautiful sun. So here I'm going to be basically doing 6 rays of the sun. Perfect. And now I have my sun done. So I'm going to wait again here because, it is a little hard for us all to do. You do not have to do it as fast as I am doing it. Take your time in going ahead and drawing the sun. Everybody is doing an excellent, neat job, and I'm so glad. Very well done, everybody. Good job. So, waiting for you to finish up, everyone. Well done. So, everybody is done with this, and everybody has done such a wonderful job. Excellent. Now, since everybody's done a wonderful job, we can move on to the next step, which is actually the stippling part of it. Always you're going to start with the dots that are a lot, and then we're going to move to the dots that are lesser. So here I'm going to be taking an orange color sketch pen for this because I want the sun to be orange in color for mine. I feel like if you use yellow color sketch pen, what will happen is it'll be too light. So I'm going to be using orange for this. And I'm going to be starting with the rays. Now, like I said, I want the part that is close to the sun to be less dots. Now I'm moving to medium number of dots, and now I've moved on to light number of dots. So like you can see, I have gone ahead and done that. Like I showed you earlier, this part will be a lot of dots, this part will be medium dots, and this part will be less dots completely. So go ahead and do that with your orange first. Good. Everybody's doing a neat job. Take your time doing this. Do not rush. Do not try to do it fast, fast. We do not want to rush into it and make mistakes. Take your time. Well done. So if you feel like your dots are not enough in some spot, go ahead and fill in, add extra dots if you need to. I'm going ahead and adding a few extra dots. Now moving on to my next patch, we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for all of your rays. Now here, I might be doing it a little too fast, but take your time to go ahead and do this. Always do dark patches towards the center part. And as you go out, you want to do lesser number of dots, and we want to move ahead and do the same thing on all of them. Take your time. I'm going to give you like a second or two later as well. I'm going to wait for you. Once I'm done doing all of my rays, I'm going to wait, and that time you can go ahead and do so if you still haven't done all of them with me. So I'm going to wait for you. Take your time to go ahead and do this. Do slowly, slowly. The neater, the better, the more nicer your picture will look. Very well done, everybody. Looking so nice. So like I said, take your time with this. Do not rush into it. Anywhere that you feel that the dots are not enough, you want to go ahead and add in more dots, please go ahead and do so. So like you can see, I'm taking my time to do this. I am not doing this fast, fast, or I'm not doing it, like I'm not doing it like in an untidy manner. I'm taking my time to do each of my dots. And then this is the final section. Such a neat job everybody is doing. Take your time in doing this. Do not rush, guys. Okay, so now you can see I've gone ahead and done all of my rays. So I'm going to wait here for a second before you go ahead and finish up all of your rays. You might not be as fast as I was, so I'm just going to wait here for a second. Take your time to go ahead and do these rays. No problem if you're taking a little bit of extra time. But try to make sure your dots are neat. The closer to the sun will be darker, the little more further will be medium, and the furthermost will be completely light. Make sure of that. Good. So I'm saying everybody's books and sheets, and it's looking very nice, very pretty, very neat. So good job, everybody. Now we can move on to the center portion. Now, like I mentioned, the center portion, this part will be the dark part, then we have medium, and then we have light. So taking the same orange sketch pen on the outside part of it, I want to go ahead and do dark. So I'm going to do a lot of dots over there. So you can see lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of dots there. Again, do this neatly. You do not want to make it shabby. You do not want to make it untidy. So take your time to do this. Super neat, guys. Do very, very neatly. Very well done. And then you can see as I'm going in, I'm reducing the number of dots. And there we have it. So like you can see now, the outer periphery here has a lot of dots. The inside as I go has lesser dots, and the center part of it has the least number of dots. I think everybody's done a good job. So I'm here, I'm waiting for you just in case you have not finished. No problem. Take your time to go ahead and do it. No problem whatsoever. Okay, good. All right. So I think everybody understood how to go ahead and do this. Everybody did such an excellent job. So now if you haven't finished the stippling part of it, because maybe I was a little too fast or you were trying to do your dots very, very neatly, no problem whatsoever. Take your time to go ahead and finish up the stippling if you have not finished it. If in some spots you feel like there are too many gaps, or in some spots you feel like, no, I've done it a little untidy, then you can go ahead and do one more. No problem of that. Try practicing it because it's a really fun technique that you have learned, and you can go ahead and do this technique on anything, to be honest. So one idea that I can give you that you can go ahead and try out at home, and maybe if you want to go ahead and submit it, not a compulsion, submission is going to be the sun itself, but if you feel like, no, I want to try something else as well, maybe I should try it, then you can draw any kind of thing that you have. For example, you can draw a cloud, you can draw a star, you can draw a square, you can draw a triangle, rectangle, a tree maybe. Go ahead and try doing the same thing. On one side, for example, let's say you've gone ahead and picked a cloud. On one side, go ahead and do lots of dots. In the center, go ahead and do little less dots, and finally towards the end, do very, very little dots. So what will happen is you'll go ahead and you'll have like a cloud shading from dark blue to light blue, and it'll look like such a pretty and amazing cloud. And you can go ahead and use this technique to do any sort of thing. You can create greeting cards if you draw a scenery anywhere. One side do lots of dots, one middle lesser dots, and finally very, very little dots. So that is the technique of stippling that we have learned today, and I hope you go ahead and use it in a different forms and ways, and you probably can go ahead and submit it also. So let's discuss about the submission. So I hope you all go ahead and make the submission for each of the classes that you attend from now onwards. In every class you're going to be learning a new technique, like I mentioned, and I'm going to be giving you an idea of how to go ahead and use that technique in different places as well. Today I didn't show you a different way where you can use it, but maybe in the next class I'll also go ahead and share a picture or something of where and how you can go ahead and use this further, and that will give you a better insight on how you'll go ahead and do all of your further work. So I hope you had fun in today's class. Please go ahead and make the submission and get selected as part of that top 10, as well as attend all of the classes and make all of your submissions for you to go ahead and get a certificate. I definitely want all of you to go ahead and get a certificate, right? So just make sure of that. Anyway, I hope you had a fun time, and you see you in all of the next classes that we take up in this course. So let me go ahead and show you the submission video for today, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site, On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at Uolo_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions.